Hello friends, and welcome back to another video. Today's is so exciting. This is a vlog, but it is also a collab video. But not just any collab video. This is a collab with Sav, or Riveting Reads, here on YouTube. She is one of my best friends here. If you don't know Sav, she is a booktube channel, obviously. She talks about thrillers and horror, and I highly recommend you go check her out. If you're not already subscribed, you should. Also, her video will be linked down below because she is also filming a vlog, because that's the video that we're doing together. So go check out her channel, subscribe, check out her vlog. So this video came about because when Sav and I became friends here on YouTube, we thought we had a lot in common in terms of reading taste, and we would always talk about how similar our reading taste was and how we agreed on so many things, and it was just like a running theme that we always talked about. But now time has passed, and Sav and I have realized that our tastes are very different. Not very different, but we've been disagreeing more and more on certain things, and I feel like we've been disagreeing a lot more on like thrillers and horror, which are the primary genres that we tend to read. So we came up with this collab video that we were going to read the exact same books, vlog our reactions to them, and then basically see how similar our reading taste is in this current moment. So for this video, we are going to be reading the same books, and we have one that is a adult thriller, one a YA thriller, one is an adult horror, and one is a YA horror. The point of this video is basically to vlog our reactions to these books and see how similar our reading taste is, and to see if we actually do have similar taste or if they have changed completely since we've been friends. So the book for the adult thriller is The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier, which I'm really excited about because I love Jennifer Hillier. I've read a few of her books and I found all of them to be really entertaining and interesting, and she writes some of the best thrillers that I've read. Then for the YA thriller, we have Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus, which Sav kindly sent me this book, which I super appreciate. She is just the sweetest. I love her so much. And I'm really excited about this one because it is a dark academia thriller, which I am not too well versed in dark academia books. I've had some hits and some misses, and dark academia is really Sav's realm. I feel like that is something she really loves to read. So I'm very interested to see how we differ on this one, and this will be my first book by Karen M. McManus. Then we have for the adult horror Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. This one I'm really excited about because this is a slasher, and I love slashers. Slashers are one of my favorite subgenres of horror, and Sav actually agrees with that. She loves slashers too. So I have a feeling that we could both really like this one. And then we have the last book, which is the YA horror, and that is This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. This one intrigues me because it is a YA horror about cannibalism. It's also one of my most anticipated releases of the year, so this has a lot of pressure on it, okay? So those are the 4 books that Sav and I will be reading in this vlog and reacting to. Again, if you're watching my video first, please go check out Sav's right after mine. That is what this vlog is about. Enough of me chit-chatting and talking your ear off. Let's get into the reading. Hello friends, and welcome to the first check-in of this vlog. I am currently reading The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier for my first book, and I am only 106 pages in. I'm on chapter 11. It's reading really quickly, which is good, but not surprising because I feel like Jennifer Hillier's books tend to read quickly. Like, her thrillers are just really fast paced, and I feel like I just kind of binge them all in like one sitting. So I'm not surprised that I'm already 100 pages in. So this book is about this police chief named Edward. He caught the Beacon Hill butcher like 30 years ago, and now he's in his 80s and he's retiring, and his grandson Matt is moving into his house. However, when he moves into his house, he makes a very dark discovery, and he doesn't know what to do about this discovery. He doesn't know if he should tell somebody, keep it to himself, because this discovery is going to change pretty much everything. There's also Sam, who is Matt's girlfriend, and she believes that her mother was a victim of the Beacon Hill Butcher, but no one really believes her. They just don't think that it's possible, because when Sam's mom was murdered would have been when the Beacon Hill Butcher was already caught. So there's a lot of things going on in here. I am enjoying it. I will say like 2 characters are getting on my nerves out of the 3 that I'm really like learning about and hearing about and constantly reading about. So I only kind of like 1 character at this point. 2 are just driving me insane, which is not weird considering the story that we are getting with this one. I kind of anticipated not liking some characters, but yeah, I'm not a fan of some of the characters so far, but I'll be interested to see where this is going. Like I said, it's very quick, very fast paced, so I definitely think that I can get the rest of this book done today, which is actually really good because I am a co-host for Escape the Readathon for Team Partiers. So we are currently in the second room and we are technically mood reading right now, so I really want to get this done. I don't know when we're gonna get to the second door, so I'm really hopeful that I can get a lot of these books for this video done before we reach the door. As soon as we get to that door, we're gonna get prompts, and I don't know if any of these books are gonna fit those prompts. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if we do reach the door while I'm filming this vlog, I can still count these books for prompts. Fingers crossed, because I do not want a setback in this vlog, because I'm cutting it a little close. I'm giving myself a little less room to work with than usual for this vlog. So, you know, we gotta hope that I can read fast and that we stay in the mood reading area. The problem is we want to get through the room quickly, but also I'm trying to read these books and I don't know if they're gonna fit the prompts, so I'm a little nervous, but very excited to continue this one. I'm liking it so far, and I think it's gonna be really easy to finish, so definitely excited to see where this one goes, and I think I'll have more thoughts once I get a little closer to the end. You will see another update from me soon. Hello my friends, and welcome back to another check-in. So last night I did finish The Butcher by Jennifer Hillier, and funnily enough, I think I jinxed myself because in the last check-in I said that I hoped I was gonna finish this and all the other books in this vlog before we reached a door in the readathon, and I jinxed myself because last night when I was literally pages before finishing this book, we got to the door in the readathon and I literally was like, no! So I had to like stop what I was doing and go check out the prompts because I was so scared that this book wasn't going to fit a prompt. So I was really nervous, but luckily it actually does fit a prompt. So the first prompt is actually a synopsis that reminds you of a co-host, which actually worked out really well for me because not only am I reading this with Sav in mind because we are reading the same books, but also I know for a fact she loves serial killer thrillers like I do. So 1, I already knew the synopsis fit Sav. 2, this also reminds me of Katrina because I also know that she likes serial killer books and she has talked about this book before, so it actually reminds me of her too. And then it worked in my favor because then I could log it as a book. So super happy about that. Very distressing at first. I was very nervous. But now let me tell you about my thoughts. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot. I love Jennifer Hillier. I love her writing. I think she just writes really good, fast-paced, interesting, fun thrillers. A little bit darker than I think typical thrillers. I would say Jennifer Hillier writes darker thrillers, in my opinion, which I like because I am a horror person more than I am a thriller person. I love thrillers, but I love the horror genre more. And so I feel like Jennifer Hillier really works for me because she leans a little bit more into that like darkness that I think a lot of thrillers lack. So I just really enjoy her writing. I like how fast-paced everything is. This one was no exception. I was surprised how fast I was reading it. It just like flew by in my opinion. I will say the characters were extremely annoying. Specifically 2 characters I could not stand, and I know I'm not supposed to like them. Like, I got that. I know that's like the whole point, but they were so aggravating. I liked Sam to an extent. I thought she was a good character, but again, she frustrated me just with like certain things that she like didn't connect. I was like, come on. I think that's just a typical thing in thrillers where they just don't seem to connect dots as quickly as they should. I really liked the serial killer aspect of this story. I guess it's hard because it kind of reminds me of The Nothing Man in terms of you know who the killer is while you're reading it, but for some reason I liked it a lot more in The Nothing Man than I did in this one. I don't know, it just worked better for me in The Nothing Man than in this one, and I'm not quite sure why. I can't really figure that out, but I don't know. There's something about this that I didn't absolutely love. For me, it falls with Creep by Jennifer Hillier. I really enjoyed Creep. It wasn't a perfect story for me. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, I liked the twist. I thought it was pretty good. It kept me guessing. And for this one, I liked the twist too. Like, I felt like the twist was really good. I didn't expect it to happen, so I liked that. But I don't know, there's just something about it that I can't give it a 5-star. It didn't make me like, ooh, what? Like, I wasn't so shocked the whole time I was reading it. I was invested, I was interested, I liked it, it kept me going, but I just don't think it was like mind-blowing. And when I compare it to other books by Jennifer Hillier that I've read that I have given 5 stars, like Jar of Hearts or Little Secrets, I think I prefer those. And those just were more interesting to me, and I felt like the writing was just a little bit better. I feel like the writing in this book falls in line with Creep, and it's not necessarily bad. I can just tell that Jennifer Hillier wrote them more at the beginning of her career, whereas Jar of Hearts and Little Secrets I feel like felt more complex in a sense, and I just prefer those. I did really like this. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a good serial killer thriller. I think it's super fast-paced, super fun. I just don't think it's a 5-star for me. Comparing it to other Jennifer Hilliers I've read, I just don't think I can give this 5 stars because it just didn't hit the mark for me. But I would say that I liked it more than Creep. So it's on the same lines as Creep, and I gave Creep 4 stars. So I would say this one would get like a 4.5 maybe? A 4.5 I feel like. This one did work better for me than Creep. I did like Creep a lot. It was a lot of fun. But I feel like I had a little bit more irritation when I was reading Creep just based off of like things that happened in the plot. And in this one I had a little bit less. So I feel like I would rate this one higher than Creep, but it does remind me of Creep in the way it's written. So I did like it. I just don't think it was perfect. Like, if I'm gonna compare it to something that I have read and gave 5 stars, it would be The Nothing Man, and for me The Nothing Man just worked much better. It felt a little bit more raw, it felt a little bit more dark, a little bit more intense, and this one felt a little less of all those things. So while I did enjoy it, I don't think I would give it the same love that I have for something like The Nothing Man. Next, I am going to read Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus, and I actually have already started this. I am 94 pages into the book, and I'm enjoying it so far. I feel like it's a little predictable already. I feel like I kind of already know where the plot is going, but I'm gonna try to keep an open mind, and luckily this actually fits for the second prompt of the readathon, which is read a book from a new to you author, and I have never read anything by Karen M. McManus before, so luckily I'm doing great with the prompts, and that's very good because I got more books to read in this vlog and I don't want to get set back. So yeah, this is the book that I have started reading, but I'm going to edit today, so I don't know how much reading I will get done until later tonight, so I probably won't have another update until tomorrow once I get a chance to like read later on in the evening. So I will come back with more of an update on this and let you know what I'm thinking. Hello friends, and welcome back for another check-in. So I finished Nothing More to Tell last night / early this morning. I finished it, so now I'm going to give you my thoughts. But first, I did not give you a plot synopsis, so I am going to tell you what this book is about really quick, and then I will let you know what I thought. So this book is about Bryn. She actually left St. Ambrose 4 years ago after their teacher was found murdered in the woods, and he was actually found by 3 students. So Bryn actually moved away, and she is now coming back to St. Ambrose. She's gotten her dream internship with this true crime show, so she decides that she is going to use this internship and look into the murder case of this teacher and kind of find out what actually happened. You also get the perspective of Trip, who used to be Bryn's best friend, and Trip, along with 2 other kids, were actually the children that found the teacher's body in the woods. But Trip also has, you know, some secrets. He might not have told the entire truth about what happened in the woods that day. Him and Bryn are not on the best of terms. They used to be best friends, however, you know, a little something happened, so, you know, they're not on the best of terms. But Bryn is not going to stop until she uncovers the truth behind this teacher's death. So this was my first book by Karen M. McManus, and I actually really liked this one. Now, this is not a perfect story. I don't think it's like the most perfectly complex, you know, like well thought out murder mystery book, okay? I don't think that. It's not like The Appeal by Janice Hallett, where everything is like so expertly done and there's so many layers and so many things to look at and you're just trying to uncover everything. It's not like that. This is a YA, and some of it probably is a little obvious. I think it did try to do a really good job at trying to throw the reader off, and I will say a lot of times they did throw me off. Like, I would get a little piece of information, think I was figuring things out, and then I would get a twist and I was like, okay, not bad, I don't know what's going on. I think the biggest complaint I have with this book is the last reveal just felt a little obvious. I feel like the person that it turned out to be, even though I guess we don't have like concrete, you know, for sure proof that it is this person, I think that it was kind of obvious in the beginning because it just made sense, and then they tried to throw you off with adding a bunch of other things, and then the ending was like, wait, no, just kidding. And by doing that, it felt like it was a little less interesting to me. I wanted something a little bit more thought out. In saying that, no, this isn't like the perfect murder mystery. I wouldn't compare it to something like The Appeal, but this is a YA, you know, thriller murder mystery book, and I think it did a good job at what it was trying to do. I found it entertaining. I found it fun. Like, the story had me sucked in. I liked it. I wasn't bored at any point. I wasn't annoyed at any point. I wasn't wishing it was going faster. I wasn't wishing for it to end. I was having fun while reading it. So based solely on just like entertainment value, I had a great time with this book. I would give it 4 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. I also liked the little bit of romance that we got in there. I thought that was great. I'm a sucker for a romance, you know, involved in other stories. I like, even if it's not like the main point of the story, I just like having a little bit of romance. I think it's fun. I think it's a nice addition, so I did like that. So based solely off like how much fun I had with it and how entertaining it was, I think this is a good book. Now, I'm not saying that people who actively read a lot of thrillers and murder mysteries, I'm not saying that they will absolutely love this. I think that it would just depend on what you're kind of looking for. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I would say that I would check out Karen M. McManus again. I think that the writing style is just very easy and simple, and if I wanted to pick something up just for fun and wasn't going to be too complicated or too hard to read or, you know, too thought-provoking, I feel like something like this is perfect. And yeah, I liked it. I had a good time while reading it. I also got to log this for Escape the Readathon. We are still trying to get through the door, so I got to use this one for the second prompt, which is a new to you author. So exciting that I still got to log it for a prompt. I'm very happy about that, and you know, it was an enjoyable book. Next up, I'm going to read The Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. I don't know much about this except that it is a slasher and it has clowns in it and it takes place at a carnival, and that's about it. So I'm very excited. I love slashers. Slashers are one of my absolute favorite subgenres in horror, so I'm hoping this will be a good, bloody, gory, you know, fun time, and I'm excited to see what it's like. Hello friends, welcome to the next check-in. So last night I finished, well actually it was more of this morning at like 7 in the morning. I finished The Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson, and I have some thoughts. I want to preface this check-in because I am super picky about slashers. I have a picture in my head of how I want a slasher to go, and a lot of the time I just don't feel like slashers do what I want them to do. So this is literally just me being probably very particular about slashers. It is the subgenre of horror I grew up on, and it is the one that I favor probably the most besides like hauntings or like haunted houses. So just keep that in mind because I know a lot of people love this book. I have very mixed feelings on it because I think a lot of this book is really good, but I have a lot of issues with it as well. So let me tell you a plot synopsis real quick. So this book takes place in the 80s, and it is about this place called Bunkin's Bonanza, and it is getting a reopening. It kind of has a dark past, but this reopening is really leaning into like the darker history of this like carnival. So this book is about the characters Candy and Lee. They are best friends, and Candy's boyfriend Rocky ended up cheating on her, so she broke up with him, and Lee's kind of taking Candy to this carnival to, you know, take her mind off the things and get her to, you know, feel better. And Rocky, the boyfriend that cheated on Candy, ends up taking his friend to the reopening of Bunkin's Bonanza because he wants to try and win Candy back. And when they get there, things get wild and bloody and crazy. So let me start with the things that I do like about this book. I think the plot is really unique. I actually think the way the author went about certain things in the story was very cool and different, and I thought it was a really like smart idea. I thought it was just really interesting. I liked the uniqueness of this story. I really liked the kills of this story. I think it was really bloody and gory. I know this is a splatterpunk, so it is a little bit more extreme than a typical just like plain bloody slasher. I will say though, I am a little bit surprised that this is splatterpunk just because, I don't know, the kills and stuff aren't too gory. Again, that could just be me though, because I am very used to like gory and nastiness in a slasher, so I don't know if this was just like normal for me that I'm like, it wasn't that crazy, but I think to some other people this would be like wild and like really like gross. But to me, I was actually a little surprised that this was a splatterpunk just because I didn't feel like it was above average in blood and gore and like that like nasty descriptiveness. Another thing this book has going for it is the clowns. This has a lot of clowns I mean, basically this whole book is about clowns. So for me, I really like that because I hate clowns. I'm scared of clowns. So having clowns be such a prominent presence in a slasher like this is really cool to me. I find that very interesting, and I think it elevates the level of scariness just for me personally because I don't really like clowns. Okay, let me get into the things that I didn't love about this book. First is the dialogue. It just felt so cringy and like over the top, and when I was reading it I was like, people don't talk like this. People don't speak like this. It is so unrealistic, and I don't know, for teenagers I just feel like it feels like the author was trying to prove that they are teenagers by like making them sound a certain way, but in my experience it doesn't make them sound like teenagers. It just makes them sound awkward and weird, and like, I don't know, I feel like the author was trying too hard to try and show that they're like younger, but it just gave the book a really weird feeling. I don't know. I don't like dialogue like that, and I've learned when the dialogue feels unrealistic and it feels that over the top, it pulls me out of the story a lot. And so I was just getting a little frustrated when I had to read the dialogue between the characters, because I was like, this just doesn't, it's weird. It doesn't flow, it doesn't work. I'd rather have them just not talk as much, honestly. My second issue with this story is the character Candy. I do not like the way she was written, like how she was described in the book. The author really emphasizes how like childlike Candy is, and like, I don't know if this was on purpose or if it was just how the author was writing Candy. They always reference how tiny she is. Like in one scene she's gonna try to ride a ride and she's too small, and like it's a whole funny thing, right? But like, not just that, it's like always emphasized how little she is, and also like she does this thing where like people will be talking to her and like she pouts, and like all I can imagine is being like, and I'm like, why are you writing her like that? Like, she's a teenager. It just feels so weird. It felt like Candy should have been like 10 instead of whatever age she's supposed to be, like 17, I don't know. But like, I don't know why the author had to like emphasize those like qualities about Candy, because it just felt really weird. And also Candy has this like, I don't know, tendency to like chew on her knuckle, like her hand knuckle, and like that, I guess it makes sense because some people like, you know, chew on their like fingers or like they bite their lip or whatever, but like, I don't know, it was just so annoying to like hear her like pout and then be like why? Like why? It was so weird. Like, I don't know why the author was like emphasizing these like childlike qualities about Candy. It just made her really cringy. Like, I just couldn't get over her character. And like, I know I was supposed to like her. Like, she's like one of the main characters, but she was so annoying because of how the author was writing her to be this like childlike little girl. I don't know. I didn't like it. It felt very weird. I was not into it. She irritated me just based off the way they were talking about her. I was like, if I have to hear about this girl being tiny one more time, I'm gonna lose it. Another issue I had is this is too long. It's too long of a book. I'm sorry. For a slasher, I have a very specific pace that I like, and for this, it is too dang slow. It took like 150 pages before anything happened. This book is 355 pages. Why? It's a slasher. It does not need to be that long. I'm sorry. I don't like my slashers that long. I don't like to have to read unnecessary crap in them. I want to get to the point. I want them to be fast-paced, and I want them to be exciting. And this book took way too long to get exciting, and by the time it got exciting, I was honestly bored. I was tired. I was tired of the book. I was over it. I was like, I don't care about these characters. I don't care about the story. Can we just get on with it? Honestly, I wish we hadn't spent so much time learning about the characters and like trying to like form these connections with them, because I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to get to the point, like get to the carnival, let's get some people dying, like let's go. And it just took way too long, and then by the time anything was happening, I was just over it. I just didn't care. I was ready for it to be over, and honestly, that makes me sad. I love slashers. I want to be excited by them. I want to be interested in them. I want to, you know, I want to have good reviews for slashers. It's one of my favorite subgenres. Like, I don't like disliking a slasher book. Okay, so I accidentally forgot to say this earlier when I was recording the clip for the Cotton Candy Massacre, so I'm actually back way later, obviously. But I just remembered something I wanted to mention about this book, and I want to add it in. But another thing about this book is that it's written kind of like a screenplay, or kind of like reading it how it would play out on screen. So it's kind of an interesting way, because I've seen books do it before, but like something will be happening in the book and then it'll say split screen and then something else is happening. So I'm assuming that's indicating that like a scene is happening in a movie and then all of a sudden cut to this scene. I like it, but I feel like it adds a little bit of chaos to the reading experience. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I will say that it was a little bit of an odd choice for this story, and it kind of took me out of the story a little bit. I'm not really sure. I think a lot of people will probably like it, and I don't hate it. I just think that it's a weird choice for this type of book, and I assume it's because slashers are typically done in film. I would say that slashers are the most successful in film format, but I think because of the way this book reads anyways, with like the dialogue and the characters and like kind of like the silly, cheesy aspect of like the 80s feel too, I think that this kind of formatting makes it feel almost like a B movie, and I wouldn't say that that necessarily took away from the story, but I wouldn't say that it added to the good qualities about this story either. I did want to add this in here, so I'm mad that I forgot to say it when I was doing my like initial review of this book, but I did want to come back and just like explain that a little bit, just because I think it is kind of a big important detail of this book and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So okay, sorry I forgot earlier. That's the big issue, is I think that there were a lot of good elements to this book. I liked the clown. I think the plot is really unique. I like the storyline in which how everything happens. I think it's really different and really cool. I like clowns in my slashers. I think that's scary. I think it's interesting, and I think that it's something that a lot of people are scared of. Clowns, they're scary. I just think the execution is not the best. The dialogue, the characters, they were just so weird. I don't know, like, I just feel like they maybe shouldn't have been as big a part of the story, and like maybe the author should have focused a little bit more on just making it like a bloody slasher without like doing these characters the way that, you know, they did. I feel like maybe that would have been a little bit more enjoyable for me, because these characters were just not it. I just didn't care. I wasn't interested. Wasn't invested. I didn't care. And of course, I just don't like long slashers. I think slashers are meant to be fast-paced, bloody, and just like boom, boom, boom. So for me, I wanted to love this. I did. I wanted to, but it was just a little infuriating, and I didn't love it. I would give it like a 3.5 because, like I said, I think the ideas were there. I think, you know, it could have been great, but for me personally, it didn't work. I'm sorry, Katrina. I know Katrina loves this one so much, so I'm really sorry. I still think it's decent, but for me, it's just not what I'm looking for in a slasher. And luckily enough, I was able to mark this for a book prompt in Escape the Readathon. I did this for prompt 1, a synopsis that reminds you of a co-host, and of course I thought of Katrina when I read the synopsis, and just because I know she loves clowns and slashers and bloody, gory books, so of course I thought of her when I read the back of this one. And the last book that I am going to read for this vlog is This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. It is a YA cannibalism story, and I am very, very, very excited for this one, so hopefully this one works out for me. I want a 5-star. I'm hopeful. Maybe? I don't know, but let's get into this one and I will let you know what I'm thinking once I start it. Alright friends, I'm here for another check-in, and I'm here to talk about This Delicious Death. I am about 130 pages into this book, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far. So this book is about this incident called the Hollowing, and 2 years ago, these people ended up becoming hollows, and what happened is they got sick, and the only way they were able to keep surviving was by eating human flesh. And now a solution to this problem, obviously, because they can't just go around, you know, eating people, so they've engineered this like synthetic flesh, so like synthetic hearts, synthetic livers, you know, for them to eat, and that way they can stay in regular society and not, you know, feed off of real people. And because of this being successful, the people that were affected by the hollowing were able to re-enter society, and you know, things were just able to go back to normal. However, that isn't necessarily true. They're scared of them because they think that they're just gonna like go completely feral and rip apart everybody in the world. So this story is about 4 friends, Val, Jasmine, Celeste, and Zoe, and they are all hollows, and they are going to this like festival in the desert, basically like Coachella. They pack up their synthetic meat, that way they don't get hungry, and you know, they go on this road trip, just the 4 of them. And the first night of the festival, Val ends up having this incident occur that includes her eating a boy in one of the bands. Now there's some sketchy things going on, and that's basically where I'm at right now. The girls are trying to piece together the puzzle and figure things out and kind of, you know, see what's actually going on. So like I said, I'm really enjoying it so far. I really like this version of cannibalism because it's almost like if you put a zombie apocalypse and cannibalism together, you would get this, and I kind of really like that because I'm not someone who really likes zombie books or zombie stories or zombie apocalypse stories. I just don't really care about zombies. I think they're kind of lame. So for me, this is like an apocalypse story minus the zombies, but add cannibals. And I kind of really like that. I think it's very unique. I think it's very different. I also think it's a very interesting take on cannibalism. When you first hear the word cannibal, you think of a certain thing. Like I bet most people think of Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs because that's such like a well-known image of cannibalism. But like for this, it feels very different. It's a very different way of looking at cannibalism, and it's very interesting. I like Kayla Cottingham's writing. I think it's really easy and simple and just kind of like fun. I like that we're getting some romance in here. My Dearest Darkest also had romance in it, and I really love romance in my horror. I think you all know that. That's something that I really enjoy, so I'm really happy to see the romance is back. It's a little bit different too. We kind of have like some more going on. It's not just like a simple little love story. I feel like there's a lot more happening in here, which I like. I feel like it makes it a little bit more interesting. I feel like there's good representation in this book as well. We have a bi character, we have lesbian characters, we have a trans character. I just feel like we have good representation, and I feel like I've been noticing that a lot more in YA horror, and overall I'm just really enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. I'm almost halfway through, so I'm definitely going to try to get as much read tonight and hopefully finish it in the morning so I can give you my final thoughts on this one. But so far I'm having a blast with it, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Hello friends, and welcome to the last check-in for this vlog. I finished This Delicious Death, and I'm about to tell you my thoughts. So I actually really liked this book. I am trying to figure out if I liked it more or less than My Dearest Darkest. My Dearest Darkest I gave 5 stars because I just really liked it. I really like this one too. I just cannot tell if it's like a 4-star, a 4.5 star. I feel like it's not a 5-star though. I feel like My Dearest Darkest definitely holds the top spot as of right now, but I do think this is a really fun YA horror. I will say the one thing that I was really worried about was the cannibalism, because I didn't know how a YA horror was going to handle it. I didn't know if it was gonna get graphic because, you know, YA horror tends to play it safe because it is YA. I mean, that's not really a surprising thing. I think most people know when they pick up a YA horror, it's gonna be a more toned down version of a horror book. I will say some YA horror really surprises me, and I felt that way when I read My Dearest Darkest. I felt like there was a lot of creepy moments and a lot of good imagery in that story. So I was a little bit more hopeful with this story because it is by Kayla Cottingham. So I was like, if she did a great job with My Dearest Darkest, I feel like she could take on cannibalism and do it in a way that really worked for a YA. And I have to say that I think I was right. I think that this was bloody and gory and very descriptive, but in a way that I think it could get away with in a YA. It's obviously not tender as the flesh. It's not something like that. It's not that crazy descriptive or graphic or like, you know, stomach churning, but I think that it did a really good job with the descriptiveness, and I feel like a lot of the, you know, eating scenes or like talking about the eating and like even the flashbacks to the past where you get to see what happened during the hollowing, I feel like those were really good, and I felt like Kayla Cottingham did a great job of making it still a very gruesome, detailed, graphic cannibal story without, you know, overstepping any lines and staying in the boundaries of a YA. I really liked the romance in this story. I liked the romance in My Dearest Darkest, so I'm not surprised that I enjoyed this one as well. I think it was really cute and sweet and just kind of like heartwarming. It's nothing like wild or crazy, but just like it's really sweet and adds like a little layer of like cuteness to a story about cannibals. I will say the ending twist, I guess it's the ending twist. That ending twist I wasn't super surprised by because I kind of felt like we already got a good idea of what was happening, and I had a feeling that this was going on when I was reading. I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of suspicious, and I did turn out to be right, but I'm not super mad that I was right just because I feel like knowing that twist wasn't a bad thing for the story. The rest of the story still was like really good and entertaining and fun, so I feel like knowing the twist didn't really hurt the book for me personally. And overall, I actually really liked the ending. I thought it ended in a good, satisfying, you know, not necessarily neat and tidy, like wrapped up in a bow way, but a little bit. It was a little bit like a neat and tidy ending, which I tend to like, especially for, I feel like YA, I feel like those are kind of the endings you get. So I wasn't super surprised by the ending, and I did like it, so I'm not mad about that. Yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I'd give it like a 4, maybe a 4.5. I don't think I liked it more than My Dearest Darkest. I really don't. I don't think so. I don't know. I could change my mind. I think My Dearest Darkest is still #1 in my heart, but I think Kayla Cottingham is a really good YA horror writer, so I'm really excited to see what they do next, and I'm excited to keep purchasing their books because obviously I really enjoy their writing style and the plots that they do, so I'm excited to know that I have a new author to keep my eye out for. I will say though, because Kayla Cottingham does YA horror so well, I would love to see an adult horror sometime. I'm just saying, I would love to see it because I think the makings could be there. I know it's kind of, you know, a little bit iffy to go from YA horror to adult horror sometimes, but I think Kayla Cottingham could do it, so I'd be very excited to see if they have any plans for like a future adult horror novel, because I would just be super excited and I would just slap my money and be like, take it, I'm ready. So hopeful, fingers crossed, maybe, I don't know. So we have finished the vlog. Let me show you the 2 books that I feel like are the standouts. Obviously, I feel like it's not a surprise, but my favorites were The Butcher and This Delicious Death, which is very funny because these are 2 authors that I have already read from previously, so I feel like it's not surprising that I really liked these books, but these 2 are definitely the standouts for me. Although I have to say that Nothing More to Tell, I actually really enjoyed. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. It's nothing mind-blowing or, you know, different or, you know, crazy special, but I did really like this one and I thought it was a lot of fun. And I will definitely check out more by Karen M. McManus because I just feel like I would like their other books, and, you know, sometimes I like to have just like a YA easy thriller mystery on the back burner that I can pick up if I'm getting slumpy, and I feel like these books could be that for me. I feel like I should check out more of their work. And then, unfortunately, my least favorite of this vlog, the one that I think was just not quite up to par, not to my expectations, was The Cotton Candy Massacre by Christopher Robertson. I wish I had liked this one, but I am super picky about slashers and I have very high expectations, and I think this one just didn't meet them, and I'm really sad about it. It's not a bad book. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars, so it wasn't awful, but I've definitely read better slashers, and I wouldn't say this one lives up to like my favorites. So unfortunately, this one is the one that I liked the least. Alright, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video where I read the same books as Sav, or Riveting Reads, here on YouTube. Don't forget to check out her video after you finish watching this one right now, because I know you'll want to see what we agree on and what we disagree on, which I am very excited about knowing myself because we have not really told each other our feelings. We've just kept it pretty vague. So I'm in the dark as much as you all are, so I will obviously be watching her video because I need to know what we agree on. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and you want to see more videos like this in the future, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We can become friends, talk about books, horrifying books, thrilling books, romance books, manga, all that good fun stuff. And with that being said, I hope you are having a great day, night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!